So in preparing for this episode, I learned that you ran for Austin City Council in 2016, and I'm always amazed by the courage it takes for someone to run for political office. For this insight segment, as we head into campaign season here, we asked our contributor network what it would take for them to run for office. And even we asked contributors who are currently in office what the experience was like running and serving. So here's what they said.
Have you ever ran for or held a public office? Yes, I am currently an auditor for local government, and this will be my 4th year in my first term.
Have you ever ran for or held a political office? And actually, I have.
What would it take for you to run for a political office? To be quite honest with you, for me, I think it will require definitely more education. I do have a bachelor's degree, so I do feel like it's going to require me probably going to go get a master's or doctorate, because I feel like those people that are in the political office are definitely very well educated.
I think it would take a lot of money, because I do need a lot of money. I also need to know a lot of people. I need to be able to get fundraisers. Of course, if I don't have all that money, I need to be able to trust people to vote for me. I guess I need to have probably a good cause. Like, why am I running? What am I so passionate about that I want to change?
Well, I think certainly the time commitment. I have a family. I've got 3 children. I'm married. I run a household. I have a full-time job. So I would certainly want to make sure, that I wouldn't be essentially putting aside my career and my family.
I can tell you what the hardest part of running for office is, the political side of it. It's not actually when you get in and you do your job. It's the election process and all the bitterness that goes on between people when you're running for an office.
What would scare me the most about running for a political office? Right now, our population is so divisive. When you start fighting for stuff, when you start to be a political figure, what happens many times is that you start poking bears, and you start messing up with people that really don't want you to mess up with them, and then it could potentially put my family at harm.
Just being so publicly exposed to judgment and being so freely, exposed to other people, and the fact that the way that the world is working in right now and how people react and behave and the expectations that they have, it's really daunting and scary.
Oftentimes, something like a political position is a thankless job.
It's definitely, it's rewarding, but it's rough.
So I think the best thing for me would just be knowing that I'm making a difference, that I'm doing something passionate, that I'm passionate about, and being able to make that impact and have my hard work and my effort really pay off, resulting in change that I had something to do with.
Wesley, after watching people talking about running for office, and even those that have spent some time in office, what's resonating for you there, and how does some of this feedback apply to your experience?
Okay, I'm going to tie it into the passion piece to say that is one of the things that gets you through all of the rigmarole of going through public office or running for an office. You have to go through a lot of vetting through not just your opponent telling you how you're not qualified for the role, but also the press telling you you're not qualified for the role. But then you go through all these small little groups, like people who are for sidewalk equity against cars, or people who are for teachers who like the left side of the chalkboard. Each one of these groups have a say in a lot of political races, and they will tear you apart and give you a whole bunch of questionnaires of what your stance is on every little issue that they care about. And if you don't have a passion for this role, then it's going to be hard to make sure that you answer each one of those inquiries in a compassionate and with fervor that you'll need in order to show that you're committed to doing the role or the job that you're applying for. The other part is that it does take a lot of money. And to explain the money portion, it's not just for ads. When we think about ads that we see online, it's convincing you to buy something. But the reason why you need so much money is because you have to do education as well. So it's not just you're applying for a job or applying for a position. You're not just getting their vote, but you're telling them why this position needs to change. If you're running against incumbent, what has not been done, what needs to be done, and why you're the person to do that. And it takes a lot of money to be able to make that incremental educational push in order to really convince people that you're the one that is going to be best positioned to make their lives better and to serve that constituency.
I mean, one thing that really sort of made me smile when I was hearing folks talk about this was I felt like maybe more than we acknowledged, the people in the video seem to have a real appreciation for it being hard to run for office, and that there's sort of a duty involved. I like when one person talked about how smart the people are that must run for office. Like, these are people that must have, like, you know, it's so I feel like that makes me feel good that at least for all the rancor in politics, there was a bit more of an appreciation for it out of folks than I had maybe expected to hear. And that was really kind of nice. That made me smile.
Yeah, appreciation or disillusionment, one of those two.
One of those, yeah.
I've met several people that are just really good with manipulating the prism of information so that it shines brightest for the group that it resonates more. Rather than really being smart, they know to tap into smart people and to make the message resonate and hook to the people that is going to care about the most. But there is also a lot of, like, you know, side manipulation from powers that be that can use different positions as a recruitment ground to move up and to actually build their chest of allies. And so there's a lot of invisible hands with groups and PACs and even elected officials that kind of like move things in the background to make other opponents or other candidates look better or worse than they are. So yes, there's a lot of smarts, but you have to build a network of allies in order to make sure that you're successful.
Makes sense.